Good morning, everybody. So in today's video, we're going to make a crustless zucchini quiche. It's keto-friendly, low-carb option, and I'm pretty sure it's gluten-free as well. So that's what we're doing in today's video. So I'm just starting off by shredding these zucchinis. I actually only use one zucchini in this recipe, and I freeze the other half of the other zucchini for future recipes like soup and stuff like that. So in this recipe, the reason why I chose to make this recipe is because I'm trying to find recipes with zucchini that I love. I'm not a massive zucchini fan. I know that I like it in baked goods and soup and stuff like that. So I'm trying to find other recipes that I can use zucchini in for healthy reasons that I love. So that's why I chose to make this. So now I'm just going to add the zucchini into my strainer here, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on it, and I'm going to put it in the sink and allow some of the moisture to be drawn from the zucchini, just to take out some of the excess water and moisture out of it before we put it into the quiche, so the texture of the quiche isn't off. If your zucchini has a lot of moisture in it, after you put it in the sink for 10 to 20 minutes to let the moisture come out, you can also, if there's still a lot in it, you can take a clean kitchen towel and press out more of the moisture that way before you use it. So in this recipe, you can add a lot of things to quiche. So I chose to add some spinach and some bell pepper and a little bit of bacon. I decided to add a little bit of bacon for a little bit of flavor. That's purely the only reason why I added it. You don't have to add it. You can make it just vegetarian, like with the vegetables, but that's purely up to you. But these are what I chose to put into it. I don't add a lot of the pepper or the zucchini or the bacon just because I didn't want it to overpower the flavor of the zucchini, since this is an experiment of mine to find recipes that I like with zucchini in it. So keep in mind, you don't want to overload the quiche either, otherwise there won't be enough egg to hold it together. Then I decided to give my green onions a haircut here and to add a tiny bit of green onion to the recipe as well. For the bacon, I only chopped up about 4 to 5 pieces of bacon. I probably could have even done only a couple pieces of bacon. That's purely preference though. Once you got all your desired vegetables chopped up, we're just gonna saute it in the pan and give it a quick sear. This is to make everything nice and soft and just make sure everything's cooked through, since egg does not take that long to cook. Cooking in the pan also gives it a nice caramelized flavor as well to the bacon, and you can crisp it up as much as you like. In this recipe, it says to add about 2 tablespoons of garlic. I think it said about 3 cloves, so I equated that to about 2 tablespoons. If you like a little bit less garlic, just use a little bit less. And then I'm pretty sure I use a little bit of salt and pepper in this recipe as well. Now that the zucchini is done draining, we're going to take about half of this and we're going to put it in with the mixture and let it give a little sear to it as well. And then the rest of the zucchini, I'm just going to put in my reusable freezer bag here, and I'm going to use it for future recipes like soup or I really like using it in soup, to be honest. Shredded zucchini goes really well in soup. I ended up eating this quiche for breakfast for probably 3 days straight. It was delicious. I really liked this recipe. I will definitely keep this zucchini recipe in the future. So you want to add about half a teaspoon of basil to this recipe. This is for flavor. And we're going to add some oregano, about half a teaspoon of oregano as well. And this is where I added the salt and pepper for flavor that I mentioned earlier. So now that the mixture is done sauteing, we're going to shut it off and we're going to let it cool down while we put together the egg mixture, just so that when it goes into the egg mixture, it's not boiling hot. A nice close-up look, all nice and sauteed. If you have a quiche dish, this is the time to use it. I did not have one, so I used a deep dish pie plate. And I'm just giving it a spray with some cooking spray here just so that the egg doesn't stick, especially since there's no crust on this quiche. It'll make it easier to come out in the long run. So we're going to start with about 5 eggs, and we're going to crack them into the bowl here. If you do end up using too much filling for inside the quiche, like too much vegetables or too much bacon or stuff like that, you can add an extra egg or two. That won't harm this recipe whatsoever. I think it would be fine. So now we're going to add about 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. You can use regular milk in this as well if you want. The heavy whipping cream does give it a really nice creamy texture though, so I do recommend using it. Now I just give the mixture a good mix just to make sure the eggs and the milk are completely mixed together before we start adding the cheese and everything else into this mixture here. This recipe calls for about half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Since I've made this recipe, I would recommend using a quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese unless you really, really love the texture and the flavor of Parmesan cheese. The Parmesan cheese gives it a really pungent flavor. So in my personal opinion, if I was to make this again, I'd probably cut that amount in half and probably double the cheddar. So for the cheddar cheese, the recipe says to use sharp cheddar cheese. I just used regular, and I used about 1 cup. So if I was to make it again in the future, I would probably double the cheddar and half the Parmesan. So now we're just going to add our mixture back into the egg now that it's been cooled down a bit, and we're going to mix it all together. Once everything is thoroughly mixed together, we're just going to pour the mixture into our greased pie plate here. Then you want to bake this at 375 for about 35 minutes. In the actual recipe, it says about 40 to 45 minutes. 35 minutes was the perfect amount. I think it just depends on your oven. You want to bake it until it has a nice golden brown texture on top. So here's the final product when it came out of the oven. It smelled divine. It was so good. So we're just going to let it sit for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to slice into it. The texture of this quiche was really nice. It had a really fluffy texture to it, and everything was throughout the egg mixture perfectly. It didn't all settle on the bottom or anything like that. This was really tasty. I ate this for lunch this day. So just to give you guys a little close-up look here, look how beautiful it is and how nice it turned out. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try. It's one of my favorites, and I think I will definitely make it again with a couple tweaks. I want to thank everybody for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.